The silence of space was absolute. Stars glimmered like distant diamonds, and the faint hum of Earth's satellites was the only sound in the void. For centuries, humanity had looked up at the night sky with wonder, imagining what might be out there. Tonight, that wonder turned into fear. Suddenly, without warning, massive shapes appeared near Earth's orbit. Gigantic ships, sleek and glowing, moved with impossible speed and precision. Their surfaces shimmered with colors that humans could not name, and they blocked out clusters of stars as they approached. Earth's military command had never seen anything like this. They called them the Dread Shadows. The first human satellites to capture the ships sent frantic signals back to Earth. On every screen, the ships loomed larger, moving closer with a silent threat. Then, a message appeared, broadcast in all known human languages. The voice was cold, sharp, and mocking. "Your metal toys are nothing. Surrender or be crushed." The words echoed in the ears of every officer and soldier who watched. On board human ships, cameras recorded the aliens' sleek hulls, but also something more disturbing. A subtle movement that almost looked like laughter. Humanity's advanced technology, which had been a source of pride, seemed small and fragile in comparison. In the command center of the largest human ship, Commander Rana sat rigidly in her chair. Her hands gripped the controls so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Around her, crew members whispered to each other, fear creeping into every voice. The aliens were not just powerful, they were confident, mocking, and almost amused by humanity itself. "Status report," Rana said, her voice steady but low. "All systems normal, Commander," replied Lieutenant Arya, though her tone betrayed a hint of panic. "But, we are completely outnumbered. Their fleet is enormous." Rana's eyes did not leave the view screen. She could see dozens, maybe hundreds of ships now forming a crescent around Earth. Each one was bigger than anything humanity had built. Their weapons glowed faintly, ready to fire. "We may be small," Rana whispered almost to herself, "but we fight smart." Her words gave a spark of courage to her crew. They had trained for situations like this, though no one had truly believed such a day would come. They were humanity's last line of defense, and despite being outgunned, they had one advantage: the human mind. Clever, unpredictable, and unyielding. The aliens moved closer, their fleet casting shadows across the planet below. Earth's military satellites tracked their movement frantically. Panic spread across global communications. Families stared at their screens in horror, unable to comprehend the sheer size of the fleet hovering above them. Governments sent urgent messages, but even the most advanced AI systems struggled to calculate the aliens' intentions. On board Rana's ship, the atmosphere was tense. Engineers, pilots, and soldiers waited for orders. The usual chatter of commands and updates had been replaced by the low hum of the ship's engines and the occasional nervous cough. Every eye was on the view screen. Then the alien message came again. This time it was not just words, it was a demonstration. A beam of light streaked across space, targeting a distant satellite. The satellite exploded in a brilliant flash, raining debris across orbit. The message was clear: "We can destroy anything you build." "Brace for impact," shouted a young officer. Rana stood up, her chair clattering behind her. "No," she said firmly. "We are not running. We hold position. Prepare defensive shields and maintain formation." Her crew moved with precision, but the tension was palpable. The humans were tiny in comparison to the alien armada, their metal ships appearing almost fragile. Yet there was determination in their movements. This was not just a fight for survival, it was a fight for humanity's honor. The aliens were silent now, watching, waiting. Then, without warning, they shifted. Dozens of massive ships turned their weapons toward Earth's orbit. The first salvo of attacks could hit within minutes. The humans had no time to hesitate. Rana's voice cut through the fear like steel. "All hands, brace for engagement. Remember, size is not strength. Intelligence is our weapon. Do not panic. Focus. Survive." As the alien ships prepared to fire, the human fleet huddled defensively. The silence of space returned for a moment, but it was different now, charged, electric, heavy with anticipation. Every crew member knew that the next few minutes could decide the fate of Earth. And then, just as the first alien beams began to light up the darkness, Rana whispered, almost to herself, "Let them see what humans can do." The screen faded to black, leaving the audience with a single thought: humanity might be small, but it would fight with everything it had. The alien fleet hung in orbit like a dark storm, massive shadows cutting across Earth's skies. Panic still gripped humanity below, but inside the command ships, a quiet determination began to form. Commander Rana paced the bridge, her mind racing faster than any computer could calculate. She knew that brute force alone would never win this fight. Humans had one chance: strategy and ingenuity. "Commander," Lieutenant Arya spoke, her voice shaking slightly, "our weapons are outdated. Lasers, missiles, even nukes, they won't pierce the hulls of their ships. We don't stand a chance if we fight like they expect us to." Rana's eyes narrowed. "Then we don't fight like they expect. Bring up the railgun prototypes. It's time they learn the cost of mocking humans." The crew looked puzzled. The railguns were humanity's hidden trump card, secret weapons designed for precise, long-range strikes. No one had believed they would ever be used in real battle. Each railgun fired hyperspeed projectiles, accelerated by electromagnetic force, capable of tearing through steel and alien shields alike. The projectiles were small compared to alien ships, but their speed and accuracy made them deadly. As the railguns powered up, Earth's orbit was alive with anticipation. Outside, the alien ships hovered, massive and confident, glowing with a faint, eerie light. They had already destroyed satellites and minor defense stations to mock humanity's primitive metal toys. Now they expected another easy victory. "Commander," said Arya, pointing to the screens, "they're watching us. They know we're preparing something." Rana smiled faintly, though tension lined her face. "Good. Let them watch. Let them think it's over. The smarter they feel, the harder they fall." Engineers worked furiously, aligning the railguns with the alien ships. Each shot had to be precise. Missing could alert the aliens to humanity's weakness. A single railgun shot could take out a smaller alien vessel, but to strike a larger one required perfect timing and teamwork across multiple stations. In the first moments, nothing happened. Silence returned, thicker than before, as if space itself held its breath. Then, without warning, the first railgun fired. A streak of blue light shot across the void at impossible speed, moving like a bolt of lightning. It hit one of the smaller alien ships. There was no explosion in the traditional sense, just a brilliant flash as the ship's hull split, and it disintegrated into a cloud of molten metal. The bridge erupted in controlled chaos. Alarms blared, not from damage but from excitement. Humanity had done what no one thought possible. The aliens, visible through the cameras, paused. One of their massive ships seemed to tremble slightly, a ripple of concern spreading across their fleet. "They didn't expect that," whispered Arya. She was smiling now, awe in her eyes. Rana leaned forward, voice calm but firm. "Keep firing. Target the engines, the shields. Focus on weak points. Show them humans are clever, not primitive." The railguns unleashed a coordinated volley. One shot after another tore through alien ships. Shields flickered and failed. Engines overheated and exploded. The alien fleet, once so confident, now moved erratically, unsure of the humans' abilities. But victory was not yet certain. The aliens quickly recovered and responded. Beams of energy lit up space as they struck at human stations. One railgun platform was damaged, sending sparks flying across the floor. Crew members scrambled to stabilize the systems. Rana's voice cut through the panic. "Do not stop. Focus. The railguns are our advantage. We have precision and strategy on our side. They have numbers, but we have brains." Outside, the scene was chaotic. Alien ships tried to flank human positions, firing plasma weapons that illuminated the darkness with green and red streaks. But humans were agile. The railguns fired again, hitting vital parts of alien vessels. One by one, smaller ships were destroyed. Confidence in the alien fleet faltered. On Earth, people watched the feeds in stunned silence. Humanity's underdogs were winning against impossible odds. Military leaders and scientists exchanged surprised glances. Hope sparked in the hearts of ordinary citizens as the first signs of alien weakness became apparent. Back on the command bridge, Rana allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. "They thought they could mock us. They thought our technology was primitive. Let's make sure they never doubt humans again." But the aliens were not finished. The larger ships began moving toward the planet with deadly precision, aiming to strike key cities and space stations. The railguns could not stop them all at once. It was a race against time, strategy against sheer power. Rana turned to Arya. "We need to force them into a position where we can control the fight. I want them to come where we can trap them. Can we use the asteroid belt?" Arya nodded, understanding immediately. "Yes, Commander. If we lure them into the asteroid field, their size will become a weakness. Our railguns will have clear shots. It's risky, but it could work." Rana's eyes gleamed with determination. "Then that's our plan. Prepare the coordinates and get ready. Humanity fights smart. Always. Let's show them that size is nothing without strategy. The aliens, confident and mocking, had no idea what awaited them. Humanity's railguns were just the beginning. The fight was far from over, but for the first time humans were no longer just prey. They were predators in their own right. As the human fleet began repositioning for the trap, space itself seemed alive with tension. Every crew member felt it, the weight of the moment, the importance of every shot, every decision. The battle for Earth was only beginning, and humanity had finally shown its teeth. The human fleet had repositioned, a thin line of fragile metal ships standing against the dark tide of alien warcraft. Silence hung in space, broken only by the hum of engines and the faint crackle of communication channels. Commander Rana's eyes never left the view screen. Each moment mattered. Every decision could mean survival or annihilation. The aliens, the dread shadows, had noticed the subtle repositioning. Their mocking tone was gone, replaced by curiosity and a hint of caution. One massive ship moved forward, scanning the human line with glowing sensors. They did not understand what humans were planning, but they were about to learn. "Commander," Lieutenant Arya said, pointing at the screens, "they're approaching. Faster than expected. Their weapons are online. If we make a mistake..." Rana held up a hand. "We won't. Focus on the plan. Remember, precision and timing. Not brute force." The first volley of alien energy weapons hit the lead human ships. Sparks flew, shields flickered, and alarms blared. Human crews ducked and scrambled, their fingers flying over consoles. Yet the railguns remained operational. They had been positioned in advance, aimed at the weak points of the alien vessels. Then, without warning, the first railgun projectile streaked across space like a bolt of lightning. It pierced the hull of a smaller alien ship. The alien vessel exploded in a brilliant flash, scattering debris in all directions. Cameras recorded the moment. Alien officers aboard their ships likely felt panic for the first time. They didn't expect that. Arya whispered, awe in her voice. Rana did not respond. She was calculating the next strike, scanning the alien formations. The human ships were outnumbered 10-1, but their firepower was concentrated, coordinated, and deadly. Every railgun shot had a purpose. Every pilot move was precise. The aliens responded, launching dozens of small fighter drones. They swarmed human ships like a wave of deadly insects, firing green energy beams that scorched hulls. One of the human frigates shuddered violently as its shields took a direct hit. Crew members shouted, trying to stabilize the systems. "Hold position. Don't scatter." Rana commanded. "Use the railguns. Focus fire on the drone's engines." The human gunners obeyed and the railguns fired again. One by one, the alien drones were torn apart mid-flight, their fragments tumbling silently into the void. The aliens faltered. Their drones, the first line of attack, were being eliminated faster than they could replace them. But it was the larger ships that were the real threat. A massive alien vessel loomed over the human fleet, its hull glowing with energy. It unleashed a barrage of plasma fire that forced human ships into defensive maneuvers. Shields flared, sparks flew, and one small frigate was nearly destroyed. Panic threatened to break through the human discipline. Rana's voice cut through the chaos. "Do not give up. Humanity survives not because we are the strongest but because we are smart." Fire. Survive. The humans obeyed. Railguns fired in perfect sequence, projectiles moving faster than the eye could track. They hit the alien capital ship, striking critical points along its hull. Flames erupted. The ship lurched, shields failing in multiple areas. Cameras captured the alien officers scrambling, their calm facade shattered. "Look at them," Arya said, a small smile appearing. "They're scared now." Rana allowed herself a faint nod. "Good. Fear makes them predictable. Stay sharp. We are not finished yet." Outside, space was alive with chaos. The human fleet moved like a living organism, weaving between explosions and laser fire. Alien ships tried to flank them, but the railguns anticipated each movement, hitting engines and weapons systems. Humans were small but organized, precise, and deadly. The dread shadows, confident moments ago, now faced a reality they had not predicted. In the middle of the battle, a young pilot, Lieutenant Kieran, broke through alien lines. His small fighter danced between massive warships, evading plasma beams and returning fire. He fired a final railgun shot from his craft, hitting a critical junction in a giant alien ship. The vessel shuddered and exploded spectacularly, scattering fragments across the battlefield. The human crew cheered silently at the sight, though every second still carried danger. One misstep, one wrong calculation could bring disaster. On the alien side, communication was frantic. Their fleet commanders sent messages to each other, coordinating attacks, but their precision was faltering. Fear was spreading. The humans, small and underestimated, were outmaneuvering them at every turn. Rana stood tall on the bridge, her hands steady. "This is humanity," she whispered. "We may be few but we fight smart. We fight with courage. And we do not surrender." The battle raged for hours in orbit, each side striking, dodging, and countering. But slowly the humans gained the advantage. Alien formations broke apart. Smaller vessels were destroyed. Larger ships sustained heavy damage, their confidence shattered. By the end of the engagement, the alien fleet had retreated slightly, regrouping to assess the unexpected losses. The human fleet, battered but victorious, held position. For the first time, humanity had proven that brains and bravery could match brute force and alien technology. Commander Rana allowed herself a moment of quiet satisfaction. "We have shown them we are not primitive," she said. "But the war is just beginning. They will come back stronger, and so will we." The screen faded to black, leaving the audience with the knowledge that humans had not just survived, they had fought back with ingenuity, courage, and HFY spirit. The brief calm after the first clash was deceptive. Humanity's fleet hovered in orbit, exhausted but alive. The railguns had proven their worth, striking down alien vessels with precision, but Commander Rana knew better than to assume victory. The dread shadows would not retreat forever. They were relentless, powerful, and angry. "Commander," Lieutenant Arya said, her voice tense, "we're receiving multiple signals. The alien fleet, they're regrouping. I count at least 24 new ships entering the system. And they're moving faster than before." Rana's jaw tightened. She could feel the tension in the bridge like a physical weight. The aliens had been humiliated, their smaller ships destroyed by human railguns. They would not forget. "We expected this," she replied calmly. "They're coming back. And this time they won't be holding back." Outside, space darkened as the new alien fleet arrived. Massive warships glowed ominously, weapons bristling, engines burning with energy. Some vessels were larger than anything humans had seen before. They moved like a shadow storm, silent and menacing. "They're angry," Arya whispered. "They're going to hit us hard." "Good," Rana said. "Let them. We are ready." But even as the humans braced themselves, the alien retaliation began. Beams of green energy shot across space, striking human frigates and stations. Shields flared, sparks flew, and alarms blared. One station was obliterated instantly, fragments scattering into orbit. The human fleet responded with defensive maneuvers. Ships twisted and turned to avoid the worst of the fire, but the aliens were coordinated and precise. Unlike the first battle, they now knew what to expect. They were adapting. "Shields are holding but just barely," shouted an engineer. "If they focus on us, we could lose multiple ships." Rana's eyes scanned the battlefield, searching for a way to turn the odds in humanity's favor. The railguns were powerful, but firing too soon or too late could mean disaster. She had to bait the aliens, draw them into a position where humans could strike with maximum effect. "Arya," she said, voice steady, "prepare the asteroid field coordinates. We'll use the belt as a trap. Lure them in and hit them where they can't maneuver." Arya nodded, her fingers flying across the controls. "Coordinates ready, Commander. But they're coming fast. If we miscalculate, we could lose everything." Rana turned to the fleet, her voice rising above the chaos. "Everyone focus. The dread shadows think they are stronger. They think they can crush us with numbers. Let's show them they were wrong. Hold formation and follow the plan. Survival is our weapon, precision is our shield." Outside, alien ships unleashed volleys of plasma, energy nets, and beams that tore through the void. Human vessels shuddered, hulls groaning under the assault. A small frigate exploded in a blinding flash, and crew members flinched at the impact. The human fleet was being tested. Every ship, every crew member pushed to the limit. But even in the face of overwhelming firepower, humans did not falter. Railguns fired with deadly accuracy, striking engines, weapons arrays, and shields. Smaller alien vessels were destroyed before they could even react. Larger ships sustained crippling damage, their movements becoming sluggish. The aliens were learning that brute force alone could not defeat humanity. Amid the chaos, Commander Rana spotted an opportunity. A cluster of alien ships had separated from the main fleet, moving faster to encircle the humans. "Arya," she said, pointing at the screens, "we'll focus the railguns on that group. Hit their engines and shields simultaneously. Make them regret underestimating us. The crew worked in synchronized chaos. Railguns fired, striking critical points, and one massive alien ship shuddered violently before exploding into molten fragments. The destruction was immediate and terrifying. Even the dread shadows were forced to pause, momentarily shaken by humanity's precision and courage. But the aliens were not finished. A larger ship fired a massive energy net, ensnaring a human cruiser. The ship's engines stalled, and it drifted helplessly towards certain destruction. Panic threatened to spread among the crew. Deploy emergency thrusters. Break the net. Rana commanded. The human crew worked frantically, and with a combination of clever maneuvering and careful railgun fire, the net was destroyed. The cruiser limped back into formation, battered but alive. Rana allowed herself a brief smile. Humanity had endured the retaliation. They had faced the full fury of the dread shadows and survived. But the battle had taught them one lesson: the aliens would not stop. Each strike, each new ship, each wave of fire would come faster, stronger, and smarter. "We've survived the first wave," she said quietly. "But they are learning. We must learn faster. Our fight is far from over." The camera pans outside the human fleet. Explosions and energy beams fill the void, debris drifting silently. The dread shadows hover, wounded but calculating, and the human fleet holds its line, battered but unbroken. The HFY spirit shines brightly. The small and underestimated humans, using brains and courage, had survived where sheer numbers alone would have doomed them. Rana's gaze lingered on the alien fleet. "Let them come," she whispered. "We are ready. And next time they will fall." The scene fades to black, leaving the audience tense and eager for the next phase of the story. The humans planned to turn the battle decisively in their favor. The human fleet had survived the alien retaliation, but Commander Rana knew the fight was far from over. The dread shadows were massive, relentless, and smarter than humans had ever imagined. They would not give up. They would strike again, harder and faster. Humanity had one chance to turn the battle in their favor, and Rana had a plan. "We're moving to the asteroid field," she announced to the fleet. "It's narrow, full of obstacles. They'll have no room to maneuver. We can strike with precision, control the battlefield, and force them into our trap." Lieutenant Arya nodded, fingers flying over the controls. "Coordinates set, Commander. All ships ready to engage on your mark." The human fleet moved like shadows, slipping into the vast asteroid belt that stretched across the edge of the solar system. Massive rocks tumbled silently, spinning slowly as humans navigated carefully between them. The aliens had followed at a distance, confident and mocking, unaware that they were entering a death trap. "They think they're faster than us," Arya whispered. "But in here, speed is a weakness." Rana smiled faintly. "Exactly. Let's show them the price of underestimating humans." The aliens entered the belt, their massive ships cutting through the field. At first, they moved confidently, weaving around asteroids with ease. But as the human fleet fired the first coordinated railgun volley, everything changed. Beams of blue-white light streaked across space, hitting engines and weapons arrays with precision. Smaller alien vessels exploded, while larger ships shuddered violently. "Direct hit on the lead ship," shouted a young officer. "Shields failing, engines offline." The alien fleet tried to retreat, but the asteroid field restricted their movement. Each ship was forced into predictable paths, and the humans exploited every opening. Railguns fired from multiple directions, hitting vital systems. Explosions lit up space as alien vessels began to break formation, panic spreading rapidly through their ranks. "This is incredible," Arya whispered, awe in her voice. "They don't know where to go. Every shot we fire counts." Rana's eyes were sharp, calculating every move. "Good. Keep it coordinated. Do not waste a single railgun. Focus fire on engines and shields. Force them to surrender or scatter." The aliens realized their mistake too late. The larger ships, which had once been untouchable, now floundered between spinning asteroids. One massive cruiser fired wildly, but every shot was dodged by the humans' precise maneuvers. Another railgun volley hit its core, and the ship exploded in a brilliant cloud of molten metal, fragments scattering in all directions. Even the Dread Shadow's commanders were forced to admit defeat. Their confident mockery turned to panic. One by one, alien ships began to break formation, retreating toward the outer edges of the asteroid field, trying to escape the human trap. But the humans were relentless. Each railgun shot hit its mark, crippling engines, destroying weapons, and turning fear into chaos among the alien crews. In the midst of the battle, Lieutenant Kieran, the young fighter pilot, darted through the chaos, taking advantage of the confined space. His small fighter zipped between massive warships, delivering precise railgun strikes to critical points. One alien battleship shuddered, its main cannon destroyed mid-charge, and it drifted helplessly toward the nearest asteroid. "They're falling apart," Arya said, her voice trembling with excitement. "We're actually winning." Rana allowed herself a faint smile. Humanity had never faced an enemy like this, yet they were proving that brains and strategy could outmatch sheer size and strength. The railguns had leveled the playing field and the humans were finally in control. But the dread shadows were not finished. One massive ship, larger than the others, attempted to ram a human frigate, sacrificing smaller vessels to break the formation. Its energy shields flared as it collided with an asteroid, the hull groaning under the impact. Sparks flew, and the ship slowly began to drift, engines failing. Rana seized the opportunity. "Focus all fire on the lead ship. Don't let it recover." The human railguns fired in perfect unison. The alien ship shuddered violently and exploded, sending shards of metal tumbling across the asteroid field. With their leader destroyed, the alien fleet's morale collapsed. Smaller ships surrendered or scattered into deep space, fleeing from humans who had once been seen as insignificant. The battlefield was quiet, save for the distant hum of human engines. The human fleet, battered but victorious, held its line amidst the spinning asteroids. Commander Rana looked at her crew, pride shining in her eyes. "This is what humans do," she said quietly. "We survive. We adapt. We fight smart. We never surrender." For the first time, humanity had turned the tide of the battle. The aliens had mocked them, underestimated them, and nearly crushed them, but the railguns, the strategy, and human ingenuity had changed everything. The dread shadows were retreating, wounded and humiliated. Humanity had proven that cleverness, courage, and teamwork could overcome overwhelming odds. Rana's voice echoed softly across the bridge. "The war is not over. But today we have shown that humanity is not weak. We are clever, we are brave, and we will not be crushed." The scene fades out with the human fleet holding position amidst the asteroid field, ready for the next phase of the conflict. The HFY spirit shines brightly. The small, underestimated humans had outsmarted a massive alien armada and lived to tell the tale. The battlefield was a chaotic tapestry of smoke, fire, and shattered alien metal. The once confident Dread Shadow's fleet was scattered, their formations broken, their morale shattered. Humanity had survived the initial onslaught, endured alien retaliation, and now, with precise strategy and unwavering courage, the human fleet was ready to finish what it had started. Commander Rana stood at the center of the largest ship's bridge, calm and focused. The crew around her worked in a quiet frenzy, aligning railguns, plotting trajectories, and coordinating attacks with military precision. Outside the window, the remnants of the alien fleet floated, damaged and vulnerable, trapped within the human firing zones. "They're trying to escape," Lieutenant Arya observed. "Most of the smaller ships are heading toward deep space, but the larger ones, they're still in the belt." Rana's eyes narrowed. "Let them run if they want. But the ones here will fall. Prepare full volleys on the remaining capital ships. Focus fire on engines first, then weapons. Hit everything critical." Outside, human railguns glowed as they powered up, charged to maximum energy. The first volley shot across space, streaking like blue-white lightning, each projectile moving with impossible speed. Alien ships shuddered as the first few hits struck their hulls, shields failing, engines bursting into flames. One massive cruiser erupted in a violent explosion, fragments spinning outward and colliding with nearby vessels. "Direct hit," shouted a young officer. "Their lead ship is disabled." The remaining alien warships attempted to maneuver, but the asteroid field restricted them. Every move was predictable, every evasive action countered by human ingenuity. Railguns fired again and again, striking vital points with surgical precision. Explosions lit up space like a deadly fireworks display, each one a testament to human intelligence and courage. "Look at them," Arya whispered, awe in her voice. "They're falling apart. They've never seen humans fight like this." Rana allowed herself a brief nod. The Dread Shadows had mocked humanity at the beginning of this conflict. They had called humans' metal ships primitive and fragile. Now their arrogance had turned to fear and chaos. The largest alien ship, still struggling, tried a desperate maneuver. It unleashed a massive energy net, attempting to trap a human frigate and destroy it. But the human crew was ready. The railguns fired simultaneously from multiple directions, hitting the alien ship's engines and weapon systems. Sparks and flames erupted across its hull, and it slowly drifted, immobilized before finally exploding in a brilliant cloud of molten metal. The remaining aliens saw their greatest vessels destroyed, their smaller ships scattered, and their confidence crushed. Panic spread through their ranks. One by one they retreated, fleeing into deep space, leaving the battlefield in the hands of humans. The human fleet, though battered and scarred, held its position proudly. Engineers patched minor damage, crews took stock, and communication channels buzzed with relief and quiet celebration. Humanity had faced an alien armada that had once seemed unbeatable, and had emerged victorious. Rana stood tall, her eyes on the fading alien ships. "Today we have proven something important," she said, voice calm but filled with pride. "They mocked us, they called us weak. But we showed them that intelligence, courage, and unity are stronger than size. Humans are not primitive. We are fighters, survivors, and innovators. And we will not be crushed." Across the fleet, crew members allowed themselves smiles, some cheering quietly, others simply taking a deep breath. They had faced the impossible and had won. The railguns, once a secret weapon, had turned the tide. But more than the weapons, it was human ingenuity and bravery that had won this battle. On Earth, people watched the news feeds with amazement. Humanity had defended itself against an alien race that had once seemed invincible. Cities erupted in celebration, and for the first time in weeks, hope spread across the planet. Humanity was not just alive, it had triumphed. Rana turned to her crew, voice steady. "We've won the battle, but the war is not over. The dread shadows will return, but now they know this. Humans are not to be underestimated. We will be ready, stronger, smarter. And together we will survive anything." The camera pans out, showing the human fleet amid the asteroid field. Alien ships drift in retreat, some destroyed, some fleeing into the void. Humanity has emerged victorious against impossible odds. The HFY spirit shines brightly, small, underestimated humans defeating a superior alien force through courage, strategy, and intelligence. The screen fades to black, leaving the audience with awe and pride. Humanity has won this day, but the galaxy is vast, and new challenges are surely on the horizon. The battlefield had fallen silent. The smoke of destroyed alien ships hung faintly against the void, glimmering in the distant light of Earth. The human fleet, battered but victorious, drifted among the asteroid field, engines humming softly. Crew members moved carefully, assessing damage, repairing systems, and tending to the weary. Commander Rana stood on the bridge of the flagship, gazing out at the remnants of the alien fleet. The dread shadows had retreated, their massive ships now tiny silhouettes against the black expanse of space. For the first time, humanity had faced an enemy that had once seemed unstoppable, and had survived. Not only survived, they had won. "Commander," Lieutenant Arya said, breaking the quiet, "they're retreating faster than we expected. But they're sending signals. I can't read them fully, they're encrypted, but the tone is different. Angry, afraid, and a warning." Rana's eyes narrowed. "Good. Let them know the price of underestimating humans. But stay alert. This is not the end. This is only a momentary pause. They will return and they will be stronger." Across the fleet, ships repaired minor damage, lights flickering softly across their hulls. The human crew shared looks of relief and pride, but also the understanding that victory in this battle did not mean safety in the war to come. Humanity had proven its worth, shown ingenuity, courage, and the strength of unity, but the galaxy was vast and dangers still waited beyond the stars. In one corner of the bridge, young pilot Lieutenant Kieran stared out at the stars, a small smile on his face. "We did it," he whispered. "We actually did it." Rana turned to him, her expression calm but proud. "Yes, we did. But remember, Kieran, today we won a battle. Tomorrow we prepare for the next. The dread shadows have learned. And so must we. Humans survive not by strength alone, but by thinking, adapting, and never surrendering." As the crew took stock of their victory, communication systems picked up a faint signal from deep space. At first, it was barely noticeable, a flicker in the transmission, but it carried a message that sent shivers down the spine of everyone listening. "This is only the beginning. We will return. And when we do, humanity will face its greatest test." The camera pans out from the flagship, showing the human fleet in formation, engines glowing against the black of space. Beyond the asteroid belt, the last traces of the alien fleet disappear into the darkness. But faintly, far beyond the solar system, new shapes stir. Larger, stronger, watching, waiting. Rana's voice cuts through the tension, calm and steady. Let them come. We are humans. We survive. We fight. And we never surrender. The scene fades to black, leaving viewers with a thrilling sense of suspense and anticipation. Humanity has triumphed today, but the galaxy is vast, and new threats are on the horizon. The HFY spirit shines brightly. The small, underestimated humans had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, and they will be ready for whatever comes next. The words linger on the screen. Humanity has won this battle, but the war for the stars has only just begun.